Help, I'm a Parent is owned by Dr. Naomi Rutten, Mental Health GP. It has been developed with the support of the town of Gawler. Help, I'm a Parent includes examples, images and references for information purposes only and are not associated to the town of Gawler in any way or form. All information provided and discussed is general advice and should not be considered specific to your own situation. Professional support should be sought if this session raises concerns for you. Helpline details are below in the YouTube content. Hi, welcome to Help, I'm a Parent. This is episode 3. I'm Dr. Naomi Rutten.
And I'm Ebony.
I'm a general practitioner who specialises in mental health. I'm also trained to provide parenting education and to make it easier on everybody and to help get the message out to as many people as possible. We're putting these videos together. The videos are based on bringing up great kids and Dan Siegel's work. So if anybody ever has the opportunity, I strongly advise people to read all of Dan Siegel's books. They're pretty easy to read. Okay. And if you ever get the opportunity, please attend a Bringing Up Great Kids or a Circle of Security parenting course because they are absolutely excellent. So I'm just going to go over the rules. Essentially, the rules are around kindness, encouragement and respect. They're the rules of my household with my kids. Yeah. Not that they're frequently followed, but
it's an intention. It's a guide, we're trying.
So Ebony is here as my parent, and I will essentially be running through the parenting program with Ebony, sharing it with you. So number one, thank you, Ebony, because to do this program you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and that's not very easy to do, especially when it's to the entire world. So there is that element. The other side of it is there's a Facebook page that is connected to this. Yeah. I'm going to hand that to Ebony to explain.
Yeah.
Facebook page.
We do have a Facebook page. So if you haven't joined the private Facebook group, we really encourage you to do so. We have a few group rules that we ask that everyone adhere to there. So when you join the page, it will actually run you through those. But essentially, it's the group is all about just asking either questions or sharing relevant information or stories. We just ask that each of your posts, unless you're commenting, be either a question or a shared, so that we're very clear about what you're hoping to do or ask. And then we just ask that you be kind. People, we do make it really clear that, people's advice on other people's parenting, if somebody's sharing something, really is not welcomed. This group is all about, as Dr. Naomi referred to before, being respectful and kind and encouraging. We respect that we're all on different journeys, and we are not here to judge each other. It's very non-judgmental based. So let's just do the journey together. And we just ask there's no swearing. So...
And I've been so good so far.
You have. I've been really proud of you. We've not had to bleep anything out.
All right. So we are very much learning as we do this process.
Totally.
So I do understand that last episode was long once I edited it and put it together. So what I'm going to do is I am going to try and restructure things so they're about 20 to 30 minutes, because at the end of the day we are parents, and part of the reason we can't get to a parenting course is because we don't have time. So I'm going to try my best to do 20 to 30 minutes.
Which is usually typically a nice hot cup of tea once the kids are in bed, or a glass of wine, right? So
or a Paw Patrol episode, or... Not that
fair
my
call.
kids...
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, Barbie, PJ Masks, Octonauts,
exactly.
like where do we want to go here?
Exactly. So bearing that in mind, and please be patient with us. And if you've got any suggestions about the structure or any way we can improve it, please let us know.
Absolutely. We are all ears.
We are happy to take positive advice as opposed to my husband's constructive criticism. Mark, that's not welcome. Just saying. So what I'm going to do is, there was a huge amount of information in episode 2, so it's such an important thing to get an understanding of how our child's brain develops.
Yeah.
because we're responsible for how they grow and develop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to be the best parents we can be, which is what most of us want to achieve, we need to understand how their brains are developing at what stages so that we can understand what their limitations are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go over just briefly in this episode about that brain, how it's developing, and give you tools. So last week was more about understanding the brain and the different areas and how they function and grow.
Yeah.
This week I want to talk about what things you and I can do as parents to help those different areas grow and better understand what's going in our child's brain.
Cool.
I will put up some images and I will put up some tables, and I'll try to put those in the comment section and stuff on the YouTube page and on the Facebook page as well. So, using Dan Siegel's model, we're going to look at the brain again. Spinal cord goes up the spine. We have the brain stem. The brain stem is there to keep us alive. That is for our basic life function. Heart regulation, breathing regulation, hunger cycles, sleep cycles. It also has a play center. Okay? We can't survive without a brain stem. We have our emotional center, which is next to develop. We have, now people will probably find it a little bit hard, we have an A for amygdala and H for hippocampus. Okay? The amygdala is our security guard, looking out for danger, and the hippocampus is the memory center. This is our emotional center. These are where the feelings are held. Okay? This is where young children up until about 4 or 5 live. Okay? That's where they are. Because the upstairs brain, their cortex, and we've got a beautiful C.
Whichever way that goes.
We've got a C for cortex, okay? And that is our thinking part of the brain. So what we must understand, and I'm going to read this from the Bring Up Great Kids manual because they wrote it so beautifully. So the limbic system is the emotional center of the brain. Okay? And it rules the lives of young children up to and around 4 years old. I'm sure we all know adults and people who it still rules. Okay, so during the toddler years, there is massive growth and development of that area. So they feel and do. They don't think and do. Because their cortex is very, very much underdeveloped. All right? So, if we want our children and our young children to be thinking, they need our cortex to be able to do that. Because they don't have one working. Does that make sense? So, if we want our children to have one, we need to have one, which means we need to not be in our emotional center. We need to not be reacting to things. And again, and we talked about this in episode 2, that's where mindfulness and keeping as calm as we possibly can so that we have our functional cortex on to model and show our children how to do it.
And that takes a little bit of time to establish, right? Especially when we've not been practicing that for a while. And then even when we have been, there are those moments, are there not? Where some little people of mine I know can press my buttons and mum still operates there. I try not to, but that does
and
happen.
This is, and this will carry into the next episode, in episode 4, where we talk about messages and that sort of stuff. But the reality is, this is really, really important if you only ever take one thing away. No parent is perfect. I am not a perfect parent, and I'm sorry to my children, but I'm not perfect. They know very well that I'm not perfect because I tell them that all the time. No parent is perfect. It is not possible for anybody to be a perfect person, let alone a perfect parent. Children are not perfect. We all make mistakes, and that's how we're meant to grow and learn. All right? Yep, we're going to mess up, but it's what we then do when we make mistakes. If there is disruption to a relationship, it's the fact that us as parents and as the functional brained adult, we are meant to then do the work to repair that relationship.
Absolutely.
All right, because again, we're modeling and training. Which takes me on to the next stage. So what happens is with the brain is that, remembering young kids are living in this area. Now, as kids get older and their cortex is developing and growing, they can have their thinking, reasoning part on.
What age is that kind of?
Look,
typically?
Realistically, and they talk about sort of upwards from 5, 6, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to depend on the sex of the child, what the child's lived experience is, what their genetics are, underlying medical conditions. There's no simple black or white element of it. As we get more stressed, okay, our emotional centre puts the body on to get ready for danger.
Okay.
As we get more stressed, and all of us as adults know what it's like to have increasing stress, we get more stress. And what you can see is slowly we're getting less capacity to think with our cortex. Yeah. Which means our emotional part of our brain is starting to take dominance. Yeah. And then we are living in our big emotional centre.
I'm just seeing how I do that. It's almost like I can say, oh yeah, that unexpected bill came in, that really stressful situation at work occurred, you know, that relationship here, you know, something, and then my kids lost it at home, and I'm like, whoop, like it all goes up. Yeah, I can totally see that happening.
Which again is, so as you know, we're going to continue to talk about, number one, how to recognise in ourselves where we're at. Yeah. All right. If we're going to have a nice healthy brain for us to be able to raise our children, then we need to learn how to recognise, where am I at? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. And we're going to practice that every day. Okay. Good. So the next side of it is, how does that child's brain grow? We discussed last week in episode 2, and you're more than welcome to revisit that. A lot of it is through learning and mirroring, through mirror neurons, our behaviours. So I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but when they're sitting with someone, they might often copy the same posture as that other person. Yeah. You might, I have a terrible tendency of when I go to talk to other people who have accents, I naturally adopt their accent.
I do that too.
And I feel awful because then they think I'm taking the piss, and I'm really, really not. I do mirror neurons. Yeah. Okay, so, and children will do the same. Yeah. You think of your young children who are playing with Barbie dolls, playing house, playing families. Mm-hmm. They are learning through practicing and mirroring what they see done.
My 5-year-old's fabulous at reining in my little 3-year-old. She is a mini mum all the way, and she uses exactly the same words that I use. Sometimes it's really cute and I love it, and then other times I'm like, oh, do I do that? So it's a good way for me to kind of really establish quickly what I do and don't. Most of the time she's fabulous, which must be.
Look, and I know from my 3 boys, so my eldest, who's 14 and a half, who I will have just explained to him how to do something and improve things in how he's doing things. And he will very quickly turn around and tell his brothers off for doing things.
Exactly.
And I talk to him frequently about what it must be like living in a glass house and throwing all those stones. So we need to just be very, very mindful. Yeah. Because the adults that we want our children to be will completely and utterly depend on what we model.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if we don't want our children growing up thinking that drinking a case of beer every single day is okay, then we need to make sure we're not modelling it. Yeah. That when we're stressed, that we go and sit down and eat a packet of Tim Tams. That's a healthier way to manage our emotions. That we just always need to keep it mindful what we're actually modelling. Yeah. And what will happen, what we're going to do in the following episode, in episode 4, is actually look at the messages that we learned. Yeah. And what sort of things we learned. Because again, we can't understand how to improve our parenting, because that's what this is all about. This is not about being perfect. This is about how we can improve our parenting based on knowledge and evidence. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we talked last time, and we've gone through it again: brainstem, emotional center, cortex. We also have a left and a right brain, okay? The brain grows and develops from the bottom up. The brainstem is fully developed before the emotional center. The emotional center is developed fully before the thinking center. Yeah. The right and the left side of the brain also need to be worked at, all right? So we're going to talk about some activities that we can do to help develop those brains.
Yeah.
All right. So the right side and the left side need to practice communicating to each other.
Okay.
The corpus callosum is what we talked about last week about that is the neural pathway, the neural highway for the right and the left brains talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
As we want the upstairs brains to be learning and growing, again through modelling of how we manage it, if we want our child to be calmer and stuff, we need to be that calm brain for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we want our child's left and right brain, it's important to practice and teach them things.
Okay.
Crossing over right brain to left brain to right brain.
Okay.
So have a think about any activities that you can consider that sort of involve that. Are there any that you can think of that involve helping that left and right brain communication? What are some activities that you can think of?
Oh man. So which one's left and right again?
So right brain is more creative, left is more logic.
Okay, so I'm great with the creative side. Typically, I can.
But think about any games, any activities that you did as a kid.
Okay. Oh, geez.
I know,
give me some warning?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Welcome to
vulnerability. Yeah, that's right. And it's all on me. Great. Okay, games as a kid. So is it just more like even role playing and stuff? Can it be as basic as that? Like, even dress ups and that kind of thing? Yeah. Or are you talking more like actual physical games?
Physical games.
Okay.
Physical activities that you can do with your child to help their left and their right brain communication.
Like Twister and stuff like
Twister's awesome.
Yeah.
Because again, my right brain needs to go over onto the red side. Yep. My left foot, and you're often crossing over and getting yourself in a tangle. That is a perfect example. We're going to do an activity. We're going to move our chairs, which is not overly COVID friendly, but okay. We're going to do pat a cake.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So we're going to cross from side to side.
Yeah.
All right. Pat a cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with B and put it in the oven for baby and me. It is a simple exercise, but it is about crossing over to get both right and left sides.
So it's a physical thing we're doing. Sorry, because probably before I was thinking like, I've got to do the emotional and the physical. How do you do that?
No.
Okay, so we're just talking about making sure we're using both sides of our bodies essentially, because that's going to trigger our left and right brain. Okay.
Yep. Okay. And getting that
I'm
crossing.
A slow learner sometimes. Sorry.
No, that just means that I haven't explained it well, which is quite likely. So crossing that over so that we have that ability to get the right and the left side of the brain thinking. Mm-hmm. All right. So as I'm sure we're all aware, sometimes we can be over creative. Dan Siegel describes it as the right side. If you are only thinking right side and creative, it can become very, very chaotic.
Yeah.
If you're just thinking with your left side of your brain, you become very rigid.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're meant to do and how our brains are meant to work is that we are meant to have a nice wide river in which we stay in the middle and we sort of try and keep in between the two. Mm-hmm. Part of the way to do that is to work at getting the right and the left side working together.
Okay.
And I'll not infrequently sit there with my patients doing pat a cake, which, as silly as it sounds, I do it because it helps.
Well, that might be something we put in the Facebook group for this episode, is actually just
everybody
ask for people's ideas. Well, like it can be doing that, but if you've got other ideas we can share with each other around, making sure we're using both sides, that would be awesome. Yeah.
We've also got, if anybody can remember any other hand clapping ones, because I used to do them all the time. Yeah. Elastics was another one.
Yes, the
skipping rope and crossing your arms, things like that. Not that I'm very good at skipping anymore. Okay, so that's been a bit of an update and an overview about the brain development and things that we can do.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to touch on, to finish up today's episode, is to just go back over the stop, pause, play.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just hold that up again. So stop, pause, play. these are from the Australian Childhood Foundation, and I tend to go through quite a lot of them because I keep giving them to people. But the reality is, what we all need to practice, and this is homework for everybody to do. Yes, you've all got homework. Is to just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And on a scale of 1 to 5, I want you to think about where your brain is. How close to completely just losing control and being overwhelmed by feelings are you in that moment? If you feel that you're higher than a 2, do not engage with your children. Pause and then do something to calm yourself.
Yeah.
All right? This is an activity about using breathing, a form of mindfulness, and taking that moment to just refocus and ground yourself to the here and now. So one of the activities that we can do is, and this is a new one, give your 10 breaths to anything that seems wonderful to you. So some of the suggestions on this are something beautiful from nature, because everybody has different things that are, is meaningful.
Absolutely.
You've noted a beautiful picture that you posted last week. So it might be a piece of music, might be a special moment with a child or a partner or a friend. And what I want you to do is, so we've paused, and I want you to just stop. I just want you to stop and think about that one thing. For me, I'm on a beach and there's nobody there except for the waiter who's mute, and he brings me whatever I need.
I'm going back to Uganda gorilla trekking, which is the picture I posted last week with this gorgeous view that was totally breathtaking, and the memories from that entire experience in those next few days that preceded that were amazing, and they're just something that I can, just gives me life thinking about. It's good.
So what I want you to do is I want you to hold on to the image of that thing, the feeling that that creates in your body, and I want you to take 10 slow breaths in, hold the breath, and then gently breathe it out. And repeat that 10 times. Breathing in, hold the breath, and then slowly breathing out. Now, when you slowly breathe out, a very, very awesome colleague of mine taught me that it's like a thing of soup, a spoon of soup. You've got your spoon of soup, but you don't want to spill the soup, but you have to cool it down. Very slowly. The slower you do it, the calmer that stimulates your brain to be. All right? So that's an activity, that's one example of practicing mindfulness. Once we feel, so where are you feeling now after having a few breaths?
Oh, so I'm going to go back down to 2.
Awesome. So then we press the play button and we can get on with life. And again, it's important not to practice this when you're in a situation where the kids are losing their plot and you're feeling elevated. Practicing is about allowing you to learn the skill in a safe way. So have it with you and just check in. For kids at school, I'll frequently get them to check in either at the start of a lesson or at the end of a lesson and just stop. Where are you on your scale of 1 to 5 before they go on to their next lesson and start their next lesson?
So you don't want to do it when you're triggered.
No.
And when the situation's blown up already or about to. When you I mean, obviously. Ideally, you get to that point, you'll be okay. But
So we just want to do it and practice it because, again, we're building new pathways. All right? Awesome. So that's something for everybody to practice this week. Thank you, Ebony, for joining me again today. And thank you, everybody at home or wherever you are watching this, for joining us for Help I'm a Parent. We will hopefully see you all next week.
Catch you
Bye.
later.